Okay.
Oh, you have it on your shirt?
Well, it's got a clip.
Listeners, we're going to set the scene for you.
I want to take a picture of you.
Right now, we're in New Jersey together. And Katie bought these little influencer microphones. And we're in her upstairs. I'm on a Chase lounge holding my little microphone with a glass of Moscato.
Moscato.
Does anyone drink Moscato?
I do.
Kind of interesting.
What are you trying to say?
Nothing.
Watch it off.
Katie has her little microphone clipped to her shirt, and we're having like a grand old time. We just ate some freaking sushi. I had some Reese's peanut butter cups.
Woo!
What the fuck are you doing?
Wow. Yeah, guys, what's your life? What are your choices?
Also, shout out to our sissy, Danielle.
Woo!
Who had a sprinkle today.
Woo!
It is
Sprinkles!
Soups prego and hot weather. And then just threw a fucking party all by herself for everyone else.
Yeah.
Who
great.
Does that?
There were arts and crafts.
How is someone
cake.
so cool? Fucking love her. Our brother Jimmy is so lucky, and you've heard stories about our brother Jimmy. He
there might be
literally
more.
got kissed by an angel.
Maybe
to meet her.
Maybe there'll be one in Soul Surfer. Who knows?
God, I love brother Jimmy stories. Let's set it up.
Okay.
Sisters who've seen it. We are the sisters who've seen it. Sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop, sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop, sisters, sisters who've seen it.
Hello.
Aloha?
Aloha!
But like actual aloha, not Blue Crush aloha?
I swear to God, that's how we started last time, isn't it? But thank you for the distinction. Yeah, this is a different surfing movie, guys.
This is the movie that they wanted Blue Crush to be.
I think so.
Right?
Except our
But
main character wasn't a 13-year-old girl with a shark attack.
True. It actually was a wildly different story minus the surfing.
But we're in Hawaii. Whee!
Kate, who are we?
Oh, yes. Let me introduce ourselves because we're in a room with wine, living our best lives with AC.
It's great.
Listeners, we are the Sisters Who've Seen It, the podcast where two sisters who are not movie critics look back on some of our favorites throughout the years through a psychological, ethical, and familial lens. I'm Katie.
I'm Bridget.
And I don't need easy. I just need possible. And then some emotional music plays. Ah! How much did you cry?
If you don't cry in this movie, you don't have a heart.
I cried.
I cried so much.
I cried a lot. Not as much as Free Willy, but close. Sorry. The whale got to me. What can I say?
This is what movie?
Oh, this is the 2010 TriStar Pictures, which I think died.
I think it's gone.
It's dead, I think. Soul Surfer. I wonder if Peacock, what is Peacock? NBC? I wonder if they bought TriStar because I watched this on Peacock.
Oh, fascinating.
I know, so I wonder if...
I watched it at Mom's house, and she allowed me to buy a $3.99 movie.
Wow!
That was big. Okay, because Kate, my daughter, wanted to watch a lot of movies, and she was like, absolutely not, that's $1.99.
Oh, Lord.
So this is based on a true story.
Yes.
About Bethany Hamilton.
Yeah.
Who at 13 years old was surfing, and basically a shark bit off her arm.
Spoiler alert.
Sorry.
But not really.
Not really.
Like, what?
And then she goes on to be like an epic surfer with one arm. Yep. And this is her origin story to, I don't know, her triumphant return and off into her life. And it has a bomb cast. Let's hit this up real quick, okay?
Okay. So we got playing Bethany Hamilton is AnnaSophia Robb.
Yep, AnnaSophia Robb. Now, for all of you Bridge to Terabithia lovers, that is...
Do you remember watching that?
Yeah.
We were like, this is a cute movie. And then we didn't know the story.
Rolled our eyes out.
That's on my list of movies to make me cry.
She's a phenomenal actor.
Yeah.
Then you have her mother, who's played by Helen Hunt. Excuse me?
Thank fucking God
Twister?
you're here, Helen Hunt. Where have you been,
Are you
bitch?
kidding? And then her father is Dennis Quaid. Are you kidding?
Dennis Quaid.
First of all, if I had a movie based on my life, that's my mom and dad. I don't care if it's real. It's happening.
It is. Yeah.
Then we have, I think, a weird cast member, Carrie Underwood. We'll talk about it.
Oh.
And Kevin Sorbo.
Kevin Sorbo.
But thank God for the first three that carried the movie.
Yeah. And then there's some other peeps that I don't think I've ever seen. Oh my God, Jeremy Sumpter? Wait.
Who?
Bridget. He was Byron. My God, Byron Blanchard.
What are you looking at?
Jeremy Sumpter was in the Peter Pan remake, and all the preteen girls like thought he was hot, but he was like 12.
Hot. Oh, okay.
But the girls were also 12.
Okay.
But
okay.
Now he's in Soul Server. Anyway, all
right.
Unfortunately, I think it's my synopsis.
Oh wait, Craig T. Nelson.
Oh, that guy.
Who's the doctor?
Yeah, he's been in stuff.
He's been in a ton of stuff. He's like always like a dad.
Yeah.
Yes, please do your synopsis.
Okay, I'm gonna try.
And also, I would recommend everyone start following Bethany Hamilton on Instagram, because if you're like, man, I should fucking vacuum my living room, and you're like,
what?
Nah, wait, hear me out. And you're like, nah, I'm too fucking lazy. And then you pull up Bethany Hamilton's Instagram, and she's doing like one-armed pull-ups.
She's doing like CrossFit
while like
with one arm.
Literally starting
Oh
a charity and saving the world. And you're like, maybe we should fucking clean the living room. You know what I'm saying? So
it's very inspirational.
That's what that's about. So yeah, hit up the synopsis. I'm gonna have some Moscato.
All right, you sip on that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, listeners, we do start off with Bethany Hamilton. She is 13 in this movie, which, you know, is cute.
She felt a little older. I'm gonna be honest.
She is 13 though. That's when the shark attack
No, I
happens.
believe it. I'm saying like the actual
portrayal of her
felt more like kind of 15, 16. But I feel like I like don't know children, because I say that about every kid. I'm always like, they seem 16.
Oh, God. Well, your child's under 4.
Well, no, but I was thinking about Blue Crush with Penny, and you, like, blew my mind that she was 12.
Yeah, Penny was younger
I thought
than
Penny
Bethany
was 16,
Hamilton.
too. I think everybody's 16.
These 12-year-olds are great surfers.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Bethany lives in Hawaii. She has mom, a dad, Helen Hunt, Dennis Quaid, and then she has 2 older brothers. Oh, God.
Listeners, I'm so sorry. But because I'm sorry, but because I'm in the room with Katie,
oh my God,
she has the most unbelievable notes for this movie.
Kidding?
We're
like
talking about a Google Doc.
Are you kidding?
We're talking about a Google Doc. We're talking about a header. We're talking about paragraph form. We're talking about bold italics. It's unbelievable.
I wouldn't be too impressed because
oh my God, it's multiple pages. Katie does her homework. Okay, sorry, Katie, continue.
Yeah, back to what I was saying. So she has her family. I didn't ever think about this before this watch, because I definitely see this movie multiple times. Her family's like got money.
Okay.
They have fucking money. Because we went from Blue Crush, where these girls couldn't afford like fucking food or gas, and there's like 8 of them living in a house, and then we have like the Hamiltons, and they live like Surfside, and they have 40,000 surfboards, and life is good. And also, parents don't go to work, but don't ask questions about money. And I was like, what?
Watching this with our mother, let's put a pin in that, because she brought that up a lot.
Oh, she did?
Oh,
of course
boy.
She did. That doesn't surprise me. Anyway, life is great, and Bethany loves surfing, and she's like, I always loved surfing, and I always wanted to be a professional surfer, and I'm great at surfing, and I'm going to do it. And you're like, hey, Bethany, cool. She's a best friend named Alana Blanchard. Also follow her on Instagram.
Oh, my God. Both inspirational women.
She does have both arms, but she's still cool. And a great surfer.
Okay, we're talking about somebody with both arms.
Yeah,
whatever.
Just,
I guess they could be inspirational.
She's cool too. They're best buds. They love surfing. They compete in like surfing competition, like junior surfing competitions, whatever. Bethany's like, this is a fucking year. I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win nationals. Something. It's coming up. What a day. So she does a lot of training, and there is church undertones.
Yeah,
and we do have scenes where we're at church. This is where somebody said, you know, who'd be the best youth minister for no reason? It should be Carrie Underwood.
Fired.
Because we're going to have one scene where we sing a song, and that means we need Carrie Underwood. And I was like, is that what it means?
All I wanted was her to sing, and we got maybe 5 seconds.
She does sing Blessed Be the Day, and I guarantee you Mom started singing. Did she start singing during that?
I blacked out.
Or was she sleeping?
I don't know. I blacked out.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Yes, so there's a lot of church undertones, and that's whatever. But yeah, in the first like third of the movie, it's like la la, life is good, and then life fucking isn't good because she gets her entire left arm bitten off by a shark. And it's fucking scary. And then it's the whole story of like, they have to get her to the hospital. We're on like an island. We're also in the middle of the ocean. So then it's like, well, how do we get her back? How do we keep her alive? How do we get her there? How do we get her that? And her dad was in surgery at the same hospital that morning, which is true.
That's pretty weird.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And then they had to use like that operating room, something.
Oh,
I don't know. But she lived, which is, you know, everyone's like, it's a miracle. And then all she cares about is, well, when can I surf again? Because homegirl's like, got the bug. I gotta go surf. Yeah. And everyone's like, let's just, you know, get home first. And obviously, it's a big news media thing because, you know, shark attack and she lived and it's crazy. And so there's like kind of stuff with that. And then the whole rest of the movie is her trying to surf again, which is fucking hard with one arm. I can't even surf with two arms.
It's hard to surf with two arms.
I can't even do that with two. And she learns how to do it with one, which is wild. But there is a point where she gets back at a surfing competition and she's a rough time. She was kind of better than Anne-Marie from Blue Crush, though. Oof, even though she, like...
You said it.
Was like, I did the worst. And I was like, I don't know, I think you did better than Anne-Marie. But, like, it's fine.
Anne-Marie was such a wuss compared to someone getting their arm chopped off.
I know. I was like, you didn't get your head hit by coral? What a day. So, you know, we have like a crisis of surfing faith and what is the Lord's plan? Something. But then, in the end, she regains her love for surfing. She realizes that she wants to put herself back out there and that she's an inspiration for other children who have lost limbs and or have disabilities, which is actually really beautiful.
It's beautiful.
And we love when people take on that responsibility. Go team. And then she goes in another competition and she doesn't win. It's like Anne-Marie, but then there is, because this is a documentary kind of, or biography, whatever, the movie's like, yeah, she didn't win, but literally a year later she fucking won. And you're like, holy shit.
I could cry right now.
Amazing.
My whole body is chilled.
And then the whole credits is home movies, and I love a home movie. So it's the fucking best. The home movie over music, get out. Oh my God. It's so great.
There's so many bits and pieces to this movie. When you Google her life, you're like, damn, you just, you know, the only thing I'll say that I think was a blessing.
Oh.
Which.
Wow. Relax, Mom.
I know.
Praise be.
Is if you're 13 and have that traumatic experience, 13 is almost better than like 30.
Yeah.
Because there's something beautiful about like maybe your brain development, or I don't know, you're the expert in that department for me, where you're like, yeah, I'm just going to go surf. Like, I'll be okay. Right. Because if I literally saw a shark in the ocean, the shivers to just walk and touch my toe in, and the bravery to just get right back. And 30 days, she took 30 days off.
It's insane.
And went right back in.
The shark attack happened on Halloween.
What?
Of whatever year that was. I think it was like 2003, maybe. And they do mention that in the movie, because they're like, it's Halloween, Mom, it's a holiday. And she's like, it's not a real holiday. And I was like, is anyone going to go trick-or-treating? No, we're going to have trauma? Great.
Oh my God.
Fuck.
Okay.
All right. Well, guess what? We start off with Helen Hunt.
She is such a babe.
Thank God
Helen Hunt,
she's fucking here.
I gotta say, you know, for those that believe that when you die, you like get reincarnated and come back in another life, I want to be Helen Hunt.
Wow.
I want to be Helen Hunt one of my lives. And I want to play her in Twister.
Okay,
because
I don't know if that's how reincarnation works, but I love that.
I just think she's so fucking cool, and I want to know what it's like to be Helen Hunt. She's so cool. How cool is Helen Hunt?
I love Helen Hunt. And I think this is the moment we do need to bring up some controversial things about some of the actors.
Oh, the actual people?
The actors. I don't know as much.
What's wrong with Helen Hunt?
No, Helen Hunt's the best.
Okay. Thank God.
But Dennis Quaid.
What's wrong with him? I don't know.
He has endorsed
Oh, Voldemort?
Not Voldemort.
Those we don't say.
Literally this year, which is even more embarrassing than if it was like, well, you know,
God,
2 cycles ago I did, but now I don't.
So good in this movie too.
I know, and that's what. Here's the thing I will say.
Shame.
This is the thing I'm going to say about Dennis Quaid, and I don't know if it's part of it, but I think it makes sense in the context of this type of movie because it is very much a religious coded movie. Is he is a religious person, and he apparently did have a very serious drug addiction in his early life, and he had cheated a lot on Meg Ryan because him and Meg Ryan were married, and they have a son, Jack Quaid, who is a working actor. He was in a lot of, he was in one of the Scream movies later on, and he is on a show called The Boys. He's great.
Excuse me, Katie coming in with the
I know the facts, guys. We're hot off the presses. But, you know, he did a lot of cheating. He says there was drug use, and now he is sober, which we're like, correct. Amazing, great, but he credits it a lot to like religion.
Got it. Okay.
And so I could see there being, because we see that
conservative
trend. We see that trend with conservative and super religious people. So this is definitely, there is a production studio that I was surprised it wasn't this, that like does a lot of religious movies. And I thought this was going to be like, oh yeah, that's this production studio. And it's fucking not. It's like TriStar. And I was like, wow, that's different.
I didn't know that about him.
Yeah, but you feel it. You feel it when you watch it. But aside from the personal stuff, he does do a great job acting.
Oh yeah. They're phenomenal.
And I mean, I really do feel like the whole beginning of the movie is very like rainbow sunshine, la la la, Hawaii is beautiful, and we are rich white people. And my best friend surfs with me too, and she, you know, is also great. You know, like,
and they were both. So I don't actually know what the parents do. I don't think we learned that, right?
I don't know off the top of my head. I can Google.
Google that because it felt like
Dennis Quaid was Hamilton people.
Dennis Quaid was kind of like, I'm a coach, but they homeschool the girls. That's also why they have the ability to surf all the time. Now, watching this movie with Mom, the movie ends, and I'm like, crusty tears are on my face.
Yes.
And she goes, now, how the fuck do they live on the ocean in Hawaii? What the hell are they doing for their jobs? I was like, Maureen.
Nobody knows the answer.
But I was like, I kind of want to know. But I think in this case, it doesn't matter how much money you make when, like, a horrific event, like getting your arm bit off by a shark. It doesn't matter if you got money or not. I guess it matters, though, in terms of, like, getting medical help and rehabilitation, and then you're able to get right back out there. But, yeah.
It's not showing me what they do. It's just saying they like to surf and that they were a movie producer, but I would think that was in connection to this. I can't imagine these people are making lots of movies.
The other thing with the Rainbow Sunshines, they seemed like a family that like loved each other.
They definitely did. And you know what?
She had 2 older brothers, and she was like, I think that's what made me tough, and
and competitive.
Like the parents like loved each other, and they all loved each other, and my heart was just exploding with love.
Yeah, and like, I don't know, they like make fun of each other a little bit too, which you're like, cool, that's normal, right? Everybody does that, right? Cool. That was actually a critique though of some people where they were saying like, family's not a real family, and I was like, what? Well, damn.
That's what I dream of having.
I was gonna say, I was like, but like, it could be a real family. Are you sure?
The one thing I thought was really cute is the parents like competed against each other surfing. You know, and you're kind of thinking, listen, if you're a white rich family in Hawaii and you literally live on the ocean, y'all better surf, right? Isn't that like,
I would think that's like the main thing you're doing there. Yeah.
So they all were surfing, and then the one brother was really into like taking videos.
He was the home video.
Yeah,
the film
at the end. But it was actually really cool because you thought to yourself, man, like they didn't know what was to come in life.
Right.
They just knew how talented she was, and it was kind of cool because what I thought was very beautiful is after she was injured, they would hype her up more in a appropriate way. Like, you're going through shit, so now we're going to hype you up, but we're still like brothers, so we'll still kind of treat you like a sister.
Yep.
And like make fun of you.
Yeah.
but also we really, really, really care and want you to win. And that was adorable. I was like, who doesn't love this?
I thought about that in the scene where after her arm is already gone and she, I guess, like offered to make them breakfast and the brothers were like, what's taking so long?
Oh my God.
Like, dudes. But it's like, it's
funny.
That's how siblings are.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's cool.
Have you met our brother Jimmy?
Have you met Jimmy? He would definitely be like, you're fucking shit.
Like, just because you got one arm doesn't mean you can't give me toast.
Definitely what happened. Okay, let's talk about Carrie Underwood because she's in that fucking scene too. And the way that they set this up is Bethany surfing, and then her bro's like, Bethany, it's time for church. And I was like, this bitch surfing before church, let's relax. And then she sprints on the beach, and it's just a fucking pop-up tent, and it's Carrie Underwood singing Blessed Be the Day, like a gospel choir, but it's white people. So, you know.
I struggled a little bit. I struggled. I didn't know what religion it was supposed to be.
Oh, I just assumed, like, Christian Catholic.
Something.
One of the C ones.
Well, and I don't...
Just blessed be the day.
I was just
Lord.
like, okay. The thing that Carrie Underwood made me nuts about is she kind of had the same face throughout the movie, and like a lot happened.
Oh my God, Bethany!
Yeah, she kind of, I was like, is this what I would act like if I was an actor?
No, I think you do a way better job.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and we don't like talk to her right away. This is just setting us up to be like, okay, the family's religious, and we like surfing. Anyway, moving on. And then we do see, like, okay, the family, they're all like, we like each other, go team. But pretty quickly, they do get into the first, like, surfing competition, which, I mean, guys, Olympic surfing. Okay, you got heats, you got waves, you got scores, you got shit to do. And this was interesting because this movie came out, I mean, at this point, like fucking 14 years ago.
It's incredible.
And I don't know if the Olympic surfing rules are the same, like, for other types of surfing competitions, but I would think they're the same because now the rules are you have to take turns doing waves. You can't, like, everybody
fight
go.
For a wave?
Yeah, you can't fight. And that was like a big thing in this movie where there was one character who I fucking the entire time thought her name was Belina Birch. And I was like, that's like a Batman villain. What do you mean? It's not, guys. Don't worry. It's Melina Birch with an
So, by the way, Melina. I looked up and I was like, who is this real evil surfer?
Yeah, I don't know her.
So Bethany Hamilton was like, it was a...
Made up?
No, it was kind of like a combination of multiple experiences I've had across multiple competitions, and I threw it all into one character.
Okay, because I was kind of like, do we need an antagonist teenage bully in my shark attack redemption story? I don't
know if we needed it, but it was a lot of rainbows that I thought, it balances out a little bit. And I think this is probably really, really, really real. If we have any listeners who have a disability and they hate being treated different, right? This character was the person that showed them, like, no, if you're going to be a B, whether I got 2 arms or 1, be a B. And that was, like, kind of cool.
Like, bitch is like, I'm trying to win. And I was like, I get that, like, everybody's trying to win. So, but Bethany does come in first in this competition. This is 2 arms, 1 Bethany, 1 first place medal.
Yeah, that's too close to some other references. Wait, and then Rip Curl,
sponsored by Rip Curl.
Rip Curl rolls up to them and is like, hey, I want to talk to you about being sponsored. And honestly, if I was a 13-year-old girl and Rip Curl was
you think, like, Anne Marie from Blue Crush was like, damn it! I wish they, like, looked at me, but I hit my head over there.
She was absolutely in the hotel window crying, giving sex for money to be afraid of a wave.
Jesus.
So, listen. They get so excited, and they're like, oh, my God, we're going to be sponsored. We get photo shoots. We got to buy, like, bikinis. And, they're honestly just being kind of, like, adorable little 13-year-old kids.
Yeah.
However, Kate, the one thing that is shitty about this movie as much as it's rainbows and love and la la la,
Yeah.
for me it was a horror film.
Oh,
Because
it was scary.
I was like, when
This is
is
scary.
the shark coming?
Yes.
We know there's a shark coming.
Yes.
We know it way too well. And they had a lot of underwater shots.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're like looking from down below, very Jaws-esque.
Right.
And I would say we probably get into like, what, 30, 40 minutes into the movie before it happens.
Yeah.
And you brought this up, there's a night surfing scene where you're like, oh, sharks, night, they're super hungry, right? If they didn't get something during the day,
the statistics are happening. Yeah, and this is after the competition. I don't know how much after, because there's like some other stupid scenes in here that are just like little whatever. But Alana, her friend Alana, is like, hey, the boys are going to, because there is a boy.
Okay, I was just going to say that.
Wait, okay.
There's one boy.
Hold on.
What's his name?
Do you know his name?
Kyoki.
Wait, let's get the whale! Free Willy! It's like, Kiko, the whale, Kikyoki, and then I thought of PPOP from Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Wait.
And there's just too many references that are happening at once.
Let's take a pause about Free Willy. On our Instagram, did you see?
Oh yeah, the guy is making a documentary about Kiko.
Yeah,
Kiko the guy. And we said, come on the podcast. He goes, after the documentary's made.
Yeah, we're gonna.
And I'm gonna hold you to that, sir.
I'm gonna make this up. I assume he's Kiko the whale trainer, and he's making a documentary about Free Willy. And once it comes out, which he doesn't know, then he's gonna come on our podcast, and he said so. Now, Kevin Lima from Goofy Movie also said so, calling you out, but he never fucking showed up. Okay, no, I'm kidding. We didn't book it. He didn't. It's not like, no, I'm sorry.
He's busy.
I made it seem like we actually scheduled it. He just didn't respond to us.
But
we love you, Kevin.
We love you.
Wait. So
back to Kiko.
Back to Kiko. Kyoki.
Yeah.
What I loved about this movie, and as we already talked about in Blue Crush I Hated, was she didn't need a love interest.
Because we're 13.
We're 13, and you know what? Crushes are fun. Crushes are cute. And she kind of makes fun of him because she has two brothers, and that's how she talks to boys, which is like, oh yeah, you're cool, but also like, your butt smells, and she runs away.
Right.
Which is so appropriate and perfect because her love was surfing.
Right.
And that's what I wanted.
And he was just another character also to kind of be like, hey, you know, you didn't die in your shark attack. You're still the same person, and I like you as a person.
Yeah.
And, like, he was just another character to also reinforce that after she loses her arm, and I was like, also correct. Thank you so much.
Well, yeah. And what was cute about him is you could tell that it wasn't just like, I like you because you're hot.
Right.
And it was cool to have you as arm
Call
candy.
the cops if so. Jesus.
He, as an equivalent surfer, was like, man, you fucking killed it today. Like, way to go. Like, he respected
he
her.
was like a skateboarder, and then I did also have Olympic flashbacks, and I was like, I gotta relax. Where he's like, hey girls, we're done hitting the waves, come hit the streets, or like, come hit the pipes, and like, you get in the waves, you crazy. And I was like, what?
Yo, that early 2000s was just like, if you go to Hawaii and you're white, everything's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they sneak out. This is the night before the shark attack. They snuck out to go night surfing, and it's like, and there's a line where Bethany's like, aren't our lives like amazing? And I was like, damn it, Bethany, did the shark fucking hear that and like write it in its diary to like follow up tomorrow? Because it might have, and I fucking hate it. I also wrote a note that was
diary. They think these oceans are nuts. Are totally safe.
I also wrote a note that was like, look out for Bodhi and Keanu from Point Break, because they also went night surfing, and I got nervous.
We've done a lot of surfing movies.
Anyway, yes, the next morning they wake up, and Helen Hunt, because she's not a regular mom, she's a cool mom, she's like, what up, kids? I know you went night surfing. Time to homeschool. And they're like, but mom, we gotta go surfing. And she's like, listen, bitches, you can take a bus and go to another school that's far away, or we can homeschool and then you get to surf. And they're like, okay. And
coolest mom ever.
I mean, she fucking is the coolest mom ever.
She was like, these are consequences.
Right.
You're privileged.
I'm communicating.
Yeah.
Right. And so they end up going with Alana's dad to go surfing. Alana's dad is played by Kevin Sorbo. He is another person that unfortunately we do have to reference as being not
Voldemort.
Yeah, he's also a problem nowadays, which is so disappointing because he was Hercules.
Okay.
And Lucy Lawless, who is Xena, warrior princess, who Bridget did dress up as for Halloween one year, and that was a great fucking costume, is a normal fucking person, and I just don't understand what happened on the set of Hercules to ruin lives. This is the same shit about It Takes Two. Something was going on the set that made people become not good people, and it makes me sad. Anyway.
Kevin Sorbo. When you mentioned him, all I thought about is growing up, Dad would make me watch Hercules.
Oh, God,
all
Hercules was crazy.
And he was pretty epic in it. Like,
he
at
was.
the time, he was like the equivalent to The Rock.
Yeah.
For, like, network TV.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And in this movie, when you mentioned him, I thought, oh, God, is he going to be annoying? But he kind of was.
He's not annoying.
Yeah, he's kind
His
of in the background.
Just like there.
Now.
But he's super religious. He's in a lot of religious movies. Like
God.
fuck ton of religious movies. That's why I'm like, something's going on here. We're all very misguided. I don't think the Lord approves. It's upsetting. Have you ever seen that clip from Hercules show where it's him dressed as Hercules and he just yells, "Disappointed!"
No.
And people always fucking post that about him when he's being an asshole on Twitter. Yeah. Anyway, he's a normal person in this movie.
And honestly, like, he did pretty decent acting too.
Yes.
Because he was the father of Bethany's best friend.
And Jeremy Sumpter.
Yeah,
for everyone who knows.
And he would go to the surf competitions. They were so cute. They would both cheer for each other. They loved that they were best friends. Very supportive, like normal parents. Now he takes out Bethany. Katie's going for a second
we're
glass
getting
of
close to the shark, so I need to be ready. It's probably the third, but don't worry. Do you want more?
17 glasses? No, I'm good. Okay. So we go to this kind of like remote area. Now, we don't describe why we're going to a remote area, but Kevin Sorbo takes them there. And I'll be honest, I kind of was like, I know the shark's coming. I didn't actually think it was coming that moment.
It fucking came.
It came.
It came so fast.
Okay, so I read about this.
Yeah.
All right. It is a 14-foot tiger shark.
They're rough.
They were all out there.
Yeah.
She just had bad fucking luck.
Yeah.
That it just went for her. Now, that shark in the movie there's a very quick scene where it's like caught by a fisherman. That happened. A fisherman caught it.
Wow, we pulled a Jaws.
And
holy shit.
There were like pieces of a surfboard in the jaw and the like teeth of the shark, and because this was such a famous story of her getting her arm like cut off, the fisherman was like, I think this is connected, and they
held the surfboard up.
They did. I don't know if they like held the surfboard up like the movie,
drama.
but they did prove like, oh yeah, that's her board. That's like the color, the whatever. So Bethany Hamilton was like, hey, I know it's the movies, and I know you're making a movie about this.
Yeah. But
she's like, it really wasn't that dramatic. It's dramatic because I lost my arm.
Right.
But the actual experience wasn't. And I thought they did it kind of well.
Well, wasn't it also like, I read something where she was like, I didn't even know my arm was missing.
Yeah.
But the first thing I noticed was like blood in the water.
Yeah.
Which is just insane.
Well, because you're so
I mean, I would think like if it happened so fast, your nerve endings, like they're not gonna work.
You're in shock.
They're gone, and you're in shock. And once we get to that moment, it is stress.
It's so
I am
stressful.
Fucking stressed. Everybody's screaming, and
they were far out.
They were far out.
They had to like
paddle back.
She
got one arm now. We're in the one arm paddling.
Well,
Lord help us.
Honestly, so if that happened to anybody, right?
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I'm like, is the shark coming back?
I would be worried about that. I'd be like, it can smell the blood.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, we're literally giving like, hey, like little like it's as if it's E.T. with Reese's Pieces following us with our blood in the water.
Yes.
And it didn't. And I thought,
yeah,
I guess because it got an arm, it's full. But like, I thought it'd come back for more.
I don't know. I don't
know why sharks go after people randomly.
Well, because
right?
they do say when you're on a surfboard, you look like a seal from if it's underneath you looking up. So if your arms are splayed out, you look like a seal. If you're just on a surfboard, you don't look like a seal. But that's why they're like,
damn,
that can happen.
Damn,
like, it's fucking scary.
It is fucking scary. And but 14 feet, so that's like a big mama jama.
It just like took her fucking arm
off. So what was true, and it was pretty well depicted in the movie, is she was wildly calm
Yes.
for the situation.
Yeah.
She did lose 60%
Oh
of
my
her
god.
blood,
It's
and
so
was
scary.
in, I think it's like hyperbolic shock or whatever hyper something
probably.
shock. And the fact that she didn't mentally get freaked out, and I think I go back to the age thing. I think like
Right.
there's something about whatever your age being young is, you're just like, what's happening? You know,
Well, there
like,
were parts where she was like, I want my mom. And I was like, I want Helen Hunt too.
Okay.
Get her here. Because her acting this whole part, that's what made me cry.
oh my
When
god,
she gets the phone call that, like, you know,
I
whatever
know.
happens, she just drops the phone and then she's like speed driving and she's like, please let her be okay. And I'm just like, oh my god, Helen.
oh god, I
It's
could
so
cry right now. My whole
emotional.
body is
Oh my
chills.
God.
If my freaking husband is getting knee surgery and I'm like, okay, hon, you're gonna be fine, but like in your head you're always like, oh god, surgery, you know, you never know, and then you get a fucking call that your daughter's heading to the same hospital.
This is just the worst time.
I'd be like, this
yeah,
fucking
what
sucks.
the hell?
So
Guys,
she
Jesus.
I mean, honestly,
they get her back, which is like, the whole thing's crazy. Like, they put her in the bed of the truck, they get her in an ambulance, and they speed to the hospital, and it's
pretty insane.
it's fucking upsetting. And they're, you know, because it's like, Jesus. There is a scene where she's like metaphorically surfing, but I think it's supposed to represent like, I could go towards the surfing light in the wave, but then she veers off course.
Yep.
Because it's not her time, Bridge.
Well, and
It's
I
just
mean,
not her time.
honestly, I do think when you lose that much blood, like, you absolutely should be dead. My God.
Yeah.
In by no means a comparison. When I did give birth,
Oh.
I did lose a lot of blood. And it's really kind of weird what your body does when you're like a little kind of loopy like that.
yeah.
That I couldn't, and that was like,
Were you surfing and saw the light?
absolutely.
Oh.
That was like nowhere near, I don't even know, like, probably didn't even lose like a percentage of my blood, you
Okay.
know? But it was like so much that they were like, hey, you have to like take extra stuff because you lost a lot of blood and it's scary. And I can't imagine your entire body losing like more than half of its blood.
Crazy.
It's like, whoa!
Yeah.
But the craziest thing to me was she was so fixated on surfing that she was like, wait, okay, sure, my arm's gone. She like didn't acknowledge it. She's like, when can I surf? When can I surf? When can I surf? To the point that I thought, wow, that's almost this, I guess this is the spiritual part, but there's almost something like if you have a passion in your life.
Yeah.
Now, she applied it to like God and spirituality and whatever, but I thought like it was surfing. That was your God. Like, that's what got you out of this. And
right.
I don't know how you had the guts to go back in the water, but she was just dying to go back in the water.
Yeah.
But she has a lot of reality checks
I think
when she gets back.
as a psychologist.
Yes,
listeners,
give it to us. Give it to us. Give us
feel
the
like
real talk.
as much as she
there.
loved the surfing, and like, absolutely that's real, and this doesn't take away from that at all, what I'm about to say, but part of me did wonder too if like a lot of fixation on surfing is like, well, if I can surf again, then it's kind of like I'm back to normal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then like I don't have to, you know, acknowledge,
Yeah.
deal with that my life is very different.
Yeah,
And, I mean, when she gets out of the hospital, so much of those scenes is her just grappling and like readjusting to life with like one arm. And there's even one part where she's like, I can't even like put my hair up. And I'm like, fuck, I didn't even think about that. Like, how do you put your hair up? I have trouble now putting my hair
Go to
up.
her Instagram. There's a whole video
She's
how she does
definitely
it.
like figured out how to fucking do it, which is crazy.
It's so cool.
But yeah, just all that stuff you don't think about.
You don't think about
But she had to like
her bra or tying her bathing suit.
Oh my god.
She was like, how the hell do I tie my bathing suit?
Yeah.
Then like breakfast, like they were like all getting ready for breakfast, and then she's like, I'm gonna go unpack. Like, she couldn't get like the tomato cut because it's like, how do you cut something with one hand? Like,
right.
all these really fascinating, I don't know, just everyday things.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's kind of interesting because she has these moments of like, I guess this is the faith part where she goes back to Carrie Underwood. Because the one thing we didn't bring up that I wonder if they did this as a point was she was supposed to go to Mexico.
But then she was like, I gotta surf, bitch.
So, okay, so she does the competition,
Right.
gets the Rip Curl sponsorship.
Yes.
Then the other one is coming up, so she, like, works really hard, and she's supposed to go on this, like, mission trip to Mexico, but she's like, hey, Carrie Underwood, I'm sorry I gotta bail, because I got sponsored.
And Carrie Underwood with dead eyes goes, "Are you sure? We'll miss you."
And do you think she sucked the shark on her? Okay.
Damn!
Carrie. So then I think there was a part of her that was like, oh no, now that like my arm is gone, maybe I do need to go on the mission trips. Maybe it was like, what, it was a punishment.
Like a weird karma?
Yeah, it was this weird karma. Like, I don't know what she was applying to it.
Vengeful
but
God.
it was when, what massive...
The tsunami.
Tsunami. And where? Where was it?
Thailand.
Thailand.
Yeah, it was in Thailand.
Huge tsunami, which we should all know, and I don't freaking remember the name of it.
I feel like it was in 2004.
Which was also kind of beautiful for her to see people who were, because she is a privileged girl that lives on the beach in Hawaii, see like people that have just had their families like decimated.
Yeah.
And it gave her some perspective. And with a really cute scene where that kid was maybe like 3?
Definitely PTSD. And I was like, he doesn't need to get in the water like next day. Like, we could take a chill pill.
I kind of laughed at it. I actually would love your professional opinion there.
Not force the toddler back into the scary water. Thanks.
Literally, okay. So if my entire family was killed by water and I'm 3, and then they're like, he's just been wandering and no one knows where he is or what's his name, and she's like, get in the water. Get in the water.
Yeah. Like, get in there, bitch.
I was like, gosh. But what she was kind of trying to say is like, it can't hurt you. You're brave. You know, I think that was her like kindness and not like, I want to trauma dump on you.
That happens more towards the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Where it's after she tries to get into, or she does do another surfing competition.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
But before that is like her basically like, readjusting to life. But then she is like, okay, anywho, back to surfing. And she does like,
pretty decent.
I mean, she
gets on a board.
On one day, she's like, hey guys, I want to all surf again. And her family, I do got to give kudos, and I hope this is how they actually were in real life, where they were very supportive, and they were just like, okay, let's all go together, go team. And she's able to get up on, like, the biggest, I guess, like, longboard, whatever. And then the dad is like, okay, we gotta, like, get you down to a smaller size board.
Yeah.
Because that's what they use for the actual competitions.
Yeah.
And she's like, totally, let's do it. So then there's a lot of listen, surfing movies, we know there's going to be montages.
There's great filming. There's all of our summer surf movies.
Yes.
It's a good cinematography.
It's fun to watch the surfing.
Totally.
It sure fucking is. But she does get down to the smallest size board with the one arm with no other, like, accommodations or anything. You're like, that's fucking crazy. And then she does try to do the competition. It doesn't go great. Oh my god, and there's also a fake arm. Should we talk about that? Because I hated that.
Actually, we should talk about the fake arm.
Okay.
We should also talk about how when she got back from the hospital.
Okay, I literally was like, I'm gonna fucking beat up a reporter. I'm not in the movie and I'm not there in real life, but I'm gonna beat someone up. How fucking terrible is that?
All right, for any reporters that listen to us, what's that about?
This is where I'm Lori Petty in Point Break, and I'm like, don't you have a soul? Like, where's your fucking soul? Well, horrible people.
I think
so gross.
Like, okay, so she gets a lot of attention because it's a wild story, and then her perseverance and all that, like, continues to hype the attention, especially with that competition, even if she didn't do great or win or whatever. And then she starts getting fan mail, then she gets more paparazzi, whatever you want to call it, and it's just kind of like, I don't know. Once she's 13, she's a kid.
Yeah.
Second, she had a wild traumatic situation that she clearly doesn't know how to handle nor talk about, because this is all, I mean, we're talking about they were there like day one. That's bizarre.
It's so gross. And like, they kind of make a joke about it where like, Dad, like, drives through the bushes to get away. And I was like, but should we call the cops? Yeah. Okay. No, we're not going to call for trespassing.
Honestly, I thought he was going to drive at them. And I was like, let's do this.
I mean, I was ready for death. You know, like, I'm okay with it. But we don't do that. And there is, like, a lot of parts, too, kind of built into building up to this competition and getting her back to surfing, where she talks about how, like, the family treats her. And you see this kind of, like, split of the dad, Dennis Quaid, is very much like, yes, you're going to surf. Yes. Yes.
Fix,
everything's great. Yeah. It's all good. I'm going to help you. Life is wonderful. And then the mom, Helen Hunt, which is why she's the best, is like, hey, it's okay to like feel feelings.
Yeah.
And also it's okay to like
It's a lot.
chill.
Yeah.
And it's
You're young.
gonna be fine. And my favorite fucking scene of the entire movie is after she does the next surfing competition where she's got the one arm. And during that, this fucking guy comes up and he's like, hey, Bethany, we're gonna give you a 5-minute head start to get out there. And I'm like, how fucking far are these waves out there? But okay. And she's like, fuck that. Well, she doesn't say that because she's religious. But she's like, no, I want to be treated the same. And then she like, I don't know, doesn't appear to be any different than anyone else most of the time. So I was like, okay, cool. But she gets like wiped out and she doesn't do well. And that's when she's like, I can't do this anymore. Yeah. And she gives away surfboards. And so then the dad's like, woe is me, I'm sad. And she's sad and we're all sad. And Helen Hunt fucking goes to him. And she's like, listen, bitch. Bitch, you listen. I'm Helen. Did you know? I was in
I'm Helen Hunt. I'm reincarnated Bridget.
I am Bridget. Don't you have a soul? And he's like, if she doesn't surf, she's never going to be the same. And she goes, she's never going to be the same. Ooh, and I was like, absolutely. And she goes, and if she can't make surfing work, she's going to be really lost. And like, that's not okay because she has to like figure it out. And I was like, oh, it's so beautiful and trauma informed and smart. Well, like, and it's just so good.
And just, you know, I don't know, just kind of aware of the fact that also she's a child, you know? So it's just like, I gotta tell you though, if my kid had that happen and then it was like, I gotta get back out there.
Right.
I'm pooping my pants. I would be on heavy medication for that surf competition.
I just got a bottle of Moscato and I'm sitting there like, woo!
I would straight up hire, who's the fucking dude in Jaws that's the captain?
Quint?
I would hire Quint.
I was just sitting in a boat behind the surfers like, I'm fucking
bankrupt
ready.
my family having Quint boats to shoot at sharks around the competition.
Oh my God.
But think about it, like how anxiety driven, but your kid's just like, I gotta go. And you're like, well, if they're not afraid, I can't create fear for them. But that was such a beautiful line. I love that line so much. I want to go down a really stupid tangent that ruins your beautiful monologue.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
Wow. Don't you have a soul? Okay.
I'm so sorry. So one of the things I want to talk about is Helen Hunt and her beautiful nose. Okay, hear me out. Okay.
Oh my God. Okay. Now I want to know that tell me where we're going.
Okay.
With her fucking nose. Because I just can't predict it. I can't predict it. I don't know what to say. Should I pull a picture of her?
Wait, hear me out.
Here we go. Here she comes.
Let me
oh, there it is. Beautiful nose.
I love Helen so much. But her fucking nose is like, I was born with this nose, and it's like a sharp nose. Okay,
look at the angles.
It's a sharp angle nose. So from the side, she's got a sharp, distinct nose. Oh, and since everyone in the universe does plastic surgery now, they all make their nose the same look. Oh. And I gotta tell you, you can't get a Helen Hunt nose. And if Helen Hunt had a different nose, I don't think she'd be as effective. I'm going to say it right now.
Wow.
And so that's how I get back to
the nose makes the person. That's the lesson.
No, your natural look does.
Oh, I mean, your natural look makes the person. Yes.
But like, I support you if you want to change the things about your body, whatever. But my point is that it was fascinating watching her because everyone these days, like, you know, this is the thing about nostalgia. You go back and you watch people that haven't had plastic surgery, and you're kind of thinking to yourself, like, you're very powerful in who you are in your body, and your body looks like your unique form because you're not all having the same face or the same fillers or the same color, whatever. So that's the eventual point. Okay. But I'm sorry I ruined it off of your really beautiful monologue. I'm so sorry.
Well, they did, and they looked like parents, and I felt like they looked real, like parents. And even though the dad was very much like, yeah, you could do it, go team, and he wasn't as like, you know, talk to you about your feelings as Helen Hunt was, like, they still, I felt, acted like how normal parents.
And he acknowledged his fault. Like,
yeah, he did apologize to her.
He was like,
I'm
so sorry that I'm Mr. Fix-It, and like, I'm really, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I'm pushing this.
That's another great scene, because then she's like, what am I supposed to do if I can't do surfing? And he said the correct answer, which adults, we always treat kids with respect and be honest. He said, I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's okay to say, because you don't fucking know. Yeah. So just say that. Yeah. And then that is where she goes to Thailand. And I do have to point out, because I don't think this is real life, the way they set up her going to Thailand.
I hated it.
This 13-year-old one-armed girl is alone in an airport by herself.
She gets past security.
Absolutely no adult.
How does she do that?
She doesn't have a ticket.
How does she get a ticket?
I don't know how we're here.
She's from a billionaire
family. And then
family.
Carrie Underwood has a gaggle of children that appear behind her in a parade. And then she's like, Bethany, what are you doing here? And Bethany's like, hey girl, can I come too? And she goes, of course! And I was like, Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry, wait.
This is the perfect... Are you thinking of today with the parade of children?
No. Oh. No, this is the perfect moment to talk about how Bethany wangled
I can't explain what wangled means. Our mom said it this morning and nobody knows what it means. Is it an Urban Dictionary?
Our mom was talking about some random person, and
oh my god,
they always tend to get into these.
Wait,
is wangled a word?
It's a word. It's in the dictionary. It's in the Oxford Dictionary. It's a verb. It says to manage to obtain something by persuading or cleverly manipulating someone. She did fucking wangle because she totally guilt-tripped Carrie Underwood. She appeared like, what is Carrie Underwood gonna say? Like, no, you can't fucking come. You're alone in an airport.
You just lost your arm.
You don't have an arm.
You
like, fuck you. Like, no, she wangled in there. Oh my god, she's a one-arm wangler. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm so fucking sorry.
I'm sorry, but if you don't use wangle, what are you doing with your life?
Guys, wangled is the word of the day. She does fucking wangle, and I think the whole point of this trip, like Bridget said before, it is to kind of regain
perspective.
It's to find purpose too, right? Because she's also like, I can help people, and right now my helping is getting traumatized children to go in the water, which I, have mixed feelings, but fine. We're all smiling. But when she goes home, that's when there are literally mountains of mail. Yeah. And I was like, how did they get her?
Because of the competition.
But how'd they get her address? Like, I'm sweating. No. That's how we get stalkers. I don't fucking like it. And she's like, what's this? And then her brothers are like, you got fan mail from the competition. And it's all these children that either were inspired by her in general, or they're children with disabilities, which is sweet.
Oh my! Well, and
my god,
she has actually a beautiful lesson in this, because she's she goes, wait, why are people writing me?
Yeah, she's like, I didn't do well, right?
She goes, I got like 6. I did so bad.
Yeah,
basically, I'm not worthy of that. And then the one letter she reads, they were like, hey, I have a disability too, and you gave me the guts to like try out for soccer or whatever the fuck they say.
Yeah.
And she kind of takes a step back and she's like, oh, even though I like lost, and then either somebody says it or she says it, which is like, but you tried.
It was
Helen Hunt.
God damn it! Helen, give me the Oscar. Where was her Oscar in 2010?
God, that goddamn sexy nose.
Oh, she wangled. Fucking Ellen. Okay. That was so beautiful.
Okay, the other really cute thing is, then she finally kind of gets back that like gumption. She gets back the grit, and she goes to her dad, Dennis Quaid, and says, okay, let's get tactical. Now, this is what I fucking love.
Where Dennis Quaid's like, I actually was making some experiments, and look what I made.
I gotta tell you, because in the movies, I think people think, like, oh, you just have to try hard.
Right.
And if you just work really hard and you want it, no. You gotta get fucking tactical.
Tactical. You gotta get creative. You gotta think outside the box.
You gotta get specific.
Right.
You gotta, do the hard shit that was different than what you're doing before.
Right.
And so she was like, okay, let's assess it. She goes, I get crushed on big waves. with duck diving.
You gotta duck dive. That's where you go under the wave, but you do need to have 2 arms on the board to like push it under. And she has 1 arm, and she's like, "What do I do? Help!" And he built like a rope.
Yeah,
that
in the middle,
just in the middle, so she could grab it and then use that to push. And then at one point, Helen Hunt is like, "Is that like allowed?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "Yeah, like they don't care how you get out there; they just care like how you're surfing." And I was like, "That's fucking cool." And
it is fucking cool because
just cool.
It was cool and it was smart. And the thing that is, honestly, there's probably so many people with somewhat similar circumstances.
Yes.
That are like, oh, I could just change my board too.
Right.
Now, you brought this up earlier. We never went back to it, but there was a prosthetic arm that kind of gave her some hope.
Oh,
and I'll be honest, I did kind of think about that. I was like, you know, why wouldn't you want to have like a prosthetic arm that could help you do these things? You're like an athlete, you know. You see, like, hey, the Paralympics are coming up.
Yeah.
You see athletes all the time using prosthetics. They're amazing. But this particular case, it was just to look like an arm, not to actually like work like it.
Do you know what the fucking guy said to her?
No, what?
It made me flip a table.
Oh, tell me about it.
He goes, "And look, there's fingernails, and you can paint them." And I screamed. And I think that man heard it through the screen because are you fucking kidding me with that patriarchy? That was so gross. And thank God that was like way earlier on, because it just goes back to the fact that like the reporters and all these news people, I mean, the reality is, I'm sorry, and if you're a reporter, like, come at us and like let's have a chit chat.
Come at us
And let's have like a sit down chit chat. I'd love to hear your perspective, but like it comes off as exploitive.
Oh yeah,
you're there to get a scoop, get a story. We see this with politics. You guys don't report on like facts because facts are boring. You report on like, isn't that crazy? LOL, watch the views. Yeah. Like, that's what this was. And so it was upsetting. And she does get upset right away. And Helen Hunt, thank God, is the one that's like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
Like, shut this shit down.
Yep.
And then that's when she's like, fuck the arm.
Well, and she's
going solo.
Well, and she really was, it was funny too. She was like, okay, so if I'm like pushing on my board and like, oh, you can't put pressure on it. She's like,
what's the point?
Or she's like, well, what if I'm grabbing the side of it? It's like, oh, you can't move the fingers. And she's like, what?
I
Like,
wonder if nowadays,
I bet,
don't you feel like a bionic?
There has to be
where
better
it's
technology
I feel like
now.
I've seen that where it's like something about like your nerve ending. I don't know, your muscles and one part of your body can move like a mechanical thing.
Yeah, there's gotta be.
Like,
there's gotta be, but
yeah,
if you follow her Instagram,
she
don't need it.
She's just living her life.
Honestly.
And, she bagged a like pretty good looking dude.
Oh my God, her life is so fucking cool on Instagram.
Pretty good looking dude. I think she has 3 boy children.
Jesus.
I think. I don't know how old they are, but like
she just works out.
Everybody
Literally,
serves.
I just watch her do like crazy like workouts. So she goes into the competition
and
she works her booty off.
This is nationals.
She's ready.
Junior nationals.
She's ready.
We're ready.
She's a little like nervous because everyone's like eyes on her and they're like, you know, what are you gonna do? You know?
Yeah.
And she does pretty well. She gets kind of hit up here and there, and she's like a little bit of like a spiritual moment.
She's like, I can feel the vibrations, the ocean. Hey, oh, hey. It's like some Enya music happening, but it's Hawaiian. You guys know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
Her arch nemesis is like just crushing.
Marina Bird!
And this is to your point in this surf competition where they're still fighting for waves.
Oh, yeah.
And so,
no turn taking.
No offense, like, somebody with 2 arms is probably faster than somebody with 1. I mean, I hate to be that. I'm ignorant.
But Bethany could duck dive and, like, something, go under Melina something, and then, like, pop up.
Yeah, she did
like
a whoopsie doodle there.
Yeah, it's something.
And then got a cool wave, and then they're like, oh my God, she needs one more big wave.
Right.
And she did get one more big wave, but they said that it was
after the
thing
ended.
Time went out. However, she earned respect, and she earned confidence based on that respect to be like, I'm not giving up. And everyone's like, yeah, champion!
Listen,
you're a wangler.
You're a wangler. I gotta say it. The wave that she does at the end is it's way fucking bigger than the one that Anne Marie did at the end of Blue Crush. And I was like, "Where is Surfing Magazine?" excuse me.
Why isn't she at the cover?
Hello, where art thou? And then that's where the movie's like, anyway, she
Although-
didn't win, but don't worry, bitches. She literally won a year later. And that's where I cry more because I'm like, it's amazing.
Okay, for all the surfers that listen to us, what I learned over this summer with the Olympics and all of our surf movies is that if you can surf in like the curl of the wave,
you get points for that.
That's like the biggest,
and
like,
to come
kudos.
out,
and to
like,
come out
when you come out of it, you don't wipe out.
That's the dream.
That's it. Yeah.
Which I thought it was all about, like the flip backies,
Nope.
or like 360s,
Nope.
or like spinnaroos.
I don't know. What that is.
No. It's the Rip Curl.
Rip Curl, sponsored by Rip Curl. It's just like fucking cool. And then, so she doesn't win. Melina Birch wins, not Belina Birch. And they're like, and then Bethany turns to Melina and she's like, hey, Melina, congrats. And then Melina goes, Bethany Hamilton,
oh,
you're awesome. Get up here, girl. And then it was like, wow,
I love
sportsmanship.
that.
And I don't know if that was real life, but what a day.
Well, and she did say, she goes, thanks for never treating me different.
Yeah.
My heart exploded.
So sweet. Yeah, because we actually didn't talk a lot about Alana, her best friend, who is a character.
You know what? We totally ignored her best friend.
Alana, I mean, the main thing to take away from Alana is, like, Alana was there when her fucking best friend's arm got ripped off, and as expected, she had PTSD. I hope she saw a therapist because
oh my God.
And she had nightmares, and then she was the one to even say to Bethany, like, aren't you scared to get back in the water? Bethany's like, no. And then Alana, like, does treat her a little differently, and then Bethany gets mad at her.
Yeah.
Because she's like, come on, everyone, let Bethany have a wave. And Bethany's like, fuck you, treat me the same. And so, like, that was like a friend lesson, guys.
It's hard. But how would you not? How would you not?
Right? Like, because it's like,
if that's my
that
bestie,
person.
if that's my and so she got kicked out of the competition because she tried to, like,
that was the one
I would definitely do that.
Like, Bethany did really bad in. That's when, like, she, like, tackled Melina.
I mean, honestly, I'd get kicked out of a competition for my bestie.
I mean, tackling someone is a cool way to get kicked out. So
I would too.
Yeah,
and it was a surf tackle.
It was.
That's pretty cool.
It's an ocean.
Who says they get to surf tackle?
I mean, nobody gets hurt.
Do you think surf football could be a thing in the future?
Now I do. Now I'm thinking about it. Yeah. You all have to surf and, like, throw a football? Wow.
And you get to tackle them?
Oh, Olympics 30-30.
That would take so long. Can you imagine all the waves they have to wait for? Blue 42! Alright.
Wow, that's very Point Break. Oh my God.
Watch it or don't watch it?
Fucking watch it.
She said it.
I
think if you need to cry, watch it.
Yeah, it's a sad one. It gets to the feel.
I feel like it is Jaws meets Rudy.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Anxiety plus inspiration. No?
I mean, you have like 30 minutes of anxiety and then like...
Okay, 45 of inspiration?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe a little more.
Right.
Maybe like an hour of inspiration.
All right.
I just think it's great. And I said it once.
It's pretty great. I'm glad you made me watch it.
I said it once, I'll say it again. I love they do home videos over the end credits, which are real life home videos.
They're great.
And they show like so many things we saw in the movie, which is amazing. And you see the real Bethany Hamilton like doing her surfing where she won nationals. And it's like fucking insane. And then
it's so insane, and she did most of the stunts for the movie.
Crazy.
So
it's
cool.
So fucking cool. I mean, follow her on Instagram. Follow Alana Blanchard on Instagram.
Yes.
The only thing that I'll say about Alana, which I think is kind of funny, is Homegirl loves to rock a thong bikini.
Ooh.
And she has whoever's filming, which I assume is her husband, filming from behind.
Ooh.
So you take that however you want. I think, you
take it from behind.
Okay.
Sorry.
Bethany Hamilton does not wear thong bikinis that I'm aware of. And do we need to mention the Bethany Hamilton?
Do you want to mention it?
It might be worth it because we are saying follow Bethany, but I do want to give a little spoiler or a little disclaimer maybe is pretty recently, which is just disappointing because it's just so disappointing when you see people jumping on what feels like a trend and it's a trend because we all know in a couple of years it's going to be like how embarrassing that's what people felt like.
I need to know more details about it. Let's set the scene.
Okay, so Bethany Hamilton is still a very religious person. We see the theme. We already discussed this before, what often happens with people who are in that boat. She has certain feelings about certain lifestyles. And Rip Curl, which she was sponsored with for like 20 years, insane amount of time. Rip Curl in 2003 made a public announcement, or it was either Rip Curl or the National
2023.
It might have been the National Surfing Association. Yeah, 2023. Basically made an announcement that they were going to allow transgender women, male to females, to compete in the women's category. And Bethany did not agree. And then that's when she, on her own, ended her partnership with Rip Curl. And she was like, I do not want to be part of that.
Here's what I also read is like, it was, you can enter the competition if your testosterone level.
Ew.
No, this is a competition thing. This wasn't Bethany.
Okay.
That if your testosterone level is at a certain, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know the details of the numbers, but it was I think that is a attempt at trying to be like, whatever.
Okay.
Fair. Whatever, right? And then if you read her stuff, she went on and on to say, like, there's more to it than just testosterone. She gets into the details, and it's like...
She very much takes a J.K. Rowling standpoint, which is not a great standpoint, which is like, women are amazing, but that's why, like, only, like, biological, like, by birth sex women, blah, blah. And you're like, it's not the best standpoint. It's like kind of lame. Also, like, what testosterone advantage am I going to get in surfing? It's not strength. Like, what do you mean? I just have to stand on a board. I'm like, are you kidding?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know, but what I thought was bizarre about that is I was like, well, you know what it's like to be, like, different.
Like, kind of treated differently?
Yeah,
and,
why
like,
wouldn't
it's bullshit?
you want to, like, support people?
Yeah, well, that would be the, nice thing to do.
So keep that in mind.
Anyway, yeah,
okay?
that's a disclaimer, but it's still...
transgender listeners.
We do, and it, regardless of that, it still is an inspirational fucking story. Go team. So...
Okay.
Wow. All right.
It's my pick.
Woo!
And I was inspired.
Oh my god.
And it's not a motherfucking surf movie.
Okay.
I can't take it anymore.
Let me close out Helen Hunt's nose. I'm ready.
This is from 2004.
Okay.
All right? I was inspired by this movie because it's where I'm at right now. Where am I?
A mom?
No.
I don't know.
Where am I physically?
Chase
located?
Lounge? New Jersey?
Uh-huh. What do they also call this?
Garden State?
Hey! Build up! You got there so fast!
I got Natalie Portman!
It's an American romantic comedy drama written and directed by Zach Braff. Natalie Portman, Peter Sarsgaard, and Ian Holm. The film centers on Andrew, a 26-year-old actor waiter who returns home to his hometown in New Jersey after his mother died.
What hometown is it? I'd like to know.
Based on of his real life experiences.
Oh, it's probably like fucking Patterson or some bullshit.
Did you see some bullshit there?
Well, it depends on the Jersey town,
Let's find the Jersey plug.
Here's what I'm going to say about this movie before we watch it. I think a lot of people call Natalie Portman's character from this movie a manic pixie dream girl, which is what we had in 500 Days of Summer. Do you remember?
Do I remember? Of course I do.
If you're wondering about 500 Days of Summer, Bridge, here's our greeting card that you created. It says, roses are red, violets are blue, fuck you, whore. We do sell that in our shop, listeners, so if you want to get in on that. But
check it out.
Wow, I can't remember the last time.
Check it out.
I definitely watched this movie with fucking Mel because she was emo.
Shout out
Mel.
We
Very
love you.
emo. We love to see it. Wow, Zach Braff wrote and directed it.
I think it's
strange.
Was it about his life?
South Orange, New Jersey. I fucking knew it was going to be North Jersey. I fucking knew it.
It's a different type of Jersey.
It's not our Jersey.
Jersey, I really feel like is like the Carolinas.
We need to break it up into different
places.
South Jersey is not where we
live.
It's
different things, guys.
Yeah, it's not the same.
It's not all Jersey Shore. It's not all New York.
Yeah,
it's okay. If you and I were surfing.
Oh god. Okay.
Some 14-foot tiger comes after your arm.
Oh my god, Bridge, don't.
I'm protecting the shit out of you.
How are you doing that?
I am.
What are you doing?
You know how they say, like,
Quint there?
mothers get the strength to, like, lift
yeah.
cars if their babies are stuck?
You lifting the shark?
I'm flying to the airport. I'm creating wings, flying you to the airport. You're going to lose 2% of blood.
My God.
You're going to immediately be fine.
Okay.
And you're going to be able to surf again.
Wait, did I lose my arm in this?
If you didn't want to, I would figure out a way to
Jesus.
get it. I would hunt down the shark and rip out the arm for you. Whatever made you happy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And Bridge.
Yeah. I love you.
If oh my God, what are we doing?
I know your brain is going somewhere weird.
It is.
Going to the deep blue sea.
Bridge, if you, after many happy years of living, died and got reincarnated as Helen Hunt, and maybe I also died and I got reincarnated as someone, I would make sure that we remake Soul Surfer.
Oh.
And I would be like, Bridget / Helen is going to be the mom. Because it's just no other way. It's the only way to do it. They have the nose. That's what you need. It's going to be amazing. And we win an Oscar. And I do that for you. Somehow that's for you and me.
Oh, thank you.
And listeners, if you also think that, sharks are scary, but also they like are really majestic creatures and like they've been on the earth longer than any other living thing and like respect them. But like watch your arms.
Go to our Jaws episode.
Go to Jaws, and if you think that like, oh my God, Bethany, like she does so much stuff with one arm. And like Bridget said, like maybe you should just like clean your countertop. Like she can do it. Like maybe you can too. And if you think that Helen Hunt was a queen, and thank God she was here because it added to the tears and her nose, something, what Bridget said, you should write us a review. We love reviews. We love written reviews. You can review us on Apple Podcasts along with some other podcasting apps. We also have a website, sisterswhoseenit.com. On our website, you can request a movie. So there is a form you can fill out. Your request goes on the list. And we look at the list every now and then. And we'll do it eventually. We're definitely moving away from, like, surfing.
So sorry,
Bridget said she's done. So, like, that means, like, even after Garden State, like, we're done.
Putting away my board.
But, and there's other surfing movies or shark movies, like, you can put them on there, and then, like, when we feel like it, we'll do them. So, go team. And Bridge, what else can they do on our website?
Give us money.
Woo!
That money.
Yeah.
We'll go to a down payment on a Hawaiian oasis.
Wow.
Where Katie and I could live.
I'm ready.
On the shores.
I'm fucking ready. I'll do the home movies.
We will do home movies.
Videographer. Yeah.
We'll get a better Instagram account because we live in Hawaii, and we'll show those movies. Also, we have merchandise that you can buy. Katie just called out the awesome card I made.
Oh my God.
That was inspired by a Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
That was definitely one of the first.
Watch 500 Days of Summer. Enjoy it and love it. And have fun.
Yes. So check all that out, listeners. And we hope to hear from you. All right. Well, we'll see y'all next week for Garden State. And I don't know any.
I don't have a quote, and I don't know why I want to say Surf's Up, Anne-Marie, but this wasn't about Anne-Marie. It's about Bethany.
Surf's Up, Anne-Marie. Yeah.
We're taking you to Jersey next week. See you there.
To Jersey, but like a different part of Jersey. Like, don't forget.
We're going to wangle you into Jersey.
Wang on down. I love
you. Use wangle on a sentence this week. I love you.
My
Bye-bye.
God. I love you.
Bye-bye. I love you.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Sisters Who've Seen It. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Check out our website at sisterswhoseenit.com, where you can email us, request movies to be reviewed, and keep up to date with all things sisters. Also, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. See you next week.